what we do every session is we share techniques that can be used to help balance and keep your emotions at bay. Because again, with the experience that we're all having globally, it is important that we recognize any feelings that we're having and when we need support. So we provide resources and support. Janae is one of our interns, and she goes out into the community and provides individual therapy. We have group sessions. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and actually will be activating my private practice as a result of such a great need to have services. I do facilitate groups now. So the most important thing is to tell someone if you're in pain, if you're hurting. And she's going to speak a little bit about a lot of learners that are referred to as learners in South Africa, with students in the US, have gone back to school, and the pressure that you may be under in school, whether or not you're in university or in primary or middle or higher school. So Janae will share a mom moment, mind over matter.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Janae's Mindful Wellness Corner. I am coming to you guys again from Los Angeles, California via the Village Mindful Wellness Center. And I am bringing you guys another mom moment, mind over matter. Today, I want us to talk about the pressures. With you guys going back to school and transitioning from summer break, some of us are uncertain if we're going to be going back to school on campus, if we're going to be doing a hybrid of being on campus or distance learning, or if we're just going to be on campus altogether. And I want us to be able to talk about how do we reframe some of the negative thoughts that can arise from feeling the pressure, some of those negative feelings, because it is important that we're able to take what we think and what we feel and translate that into something more positive, because our thoughts do matter, okay? So let's give out a few examples of what reframing our thoughts can look like. So I know many of us have wanted to or have tried out for a sports team at school, and there was a lot of pressure either that we put on ourselves, maybe our parents put on us, and we didn't make it, right? And so now these different negative thoughts and feelings about ourselves are coming out, right? Maybe I'm not good enough, or I suck. How do we reframe that? Well, one of the ways that we can reframe that is thinking about the time that we now have to be able to practice a little bit more, right? So now I have more time to practice, to be able to gain the skill set, gain the experience on this sport of choice, right? So that when it's time for me to try it again, I can make the team, right? Another thing that I know we often feel a lot of stress and pressure from is our parents, right? Sometimes our parents are naggy. Sometimes we feel like they're all in our business. Sometimes we feel like they do too much, right? But that's our parents' job. So how do we reframe that into something more positive? Our parents are preparing us. They're teaching us skills. They're teaching us the important things that we're going to need so that we can be prepared to live on our own without our parents. Right? And so reframing that into something more positive like that will help us not think so much about them constantly being in our business, them constantly nagging us about doing certain things, because their goal is to prepare us to be successful adults who can live on our own without having to rely on our parents. And then I want us to talk about the pressures that some of you may feel being in school with the way things are right now, or just in general when it comes to the classes that you may have to take and how that may impact the stress and the pressure that you may feel from that, right? And so I know maybe if you're attending your classes all virtually, right, depending on the subjects that you're taking, or even if you're attending your classes on campus, maybe a hybrid of both, and you may feel like this is entirely too much for me, like I can't do this, this is too much. How do we reframe that? Right? Maybe by asking ourselves, what is it that I need? What is it that I need so that I can accomplish or do whatever the tasks are that my teachers have assigned to me, right? When we think about I'm behind, or am I behind with the work that has been assigned to me because I can't really focus and deal with the different, ways that the classes are being taught by different teachers online or in person. Right? So how do we reframe that into something more positive? What can I celebrate about what I've already done? So what have you done already in your classes that you can celebrate and say, I've done well at this thus far? What about I messed up? I was unable to get this done, or I got it done incorrectly, I messed up. How do we reframe that into something more positive? Think about, what did I learn? I maybe got some of these problems wrong, but what did I learn? And how do I take what I've learned from this situation and apply it so that I don't make that same mistake again? Okay, so I'm hoping that you guys were able to take some of the examples that I provided with you today and try to apply them as the school year starts and as you guys continue on through your school year, so that we can take some of those anxious thoughts that are manifesting as we deal with all the pressures that are coming from being in school and reframe that into something more positive. And before I go, I want to say happy birthday to Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela is a global iconic role model. He has applied such efforts against apartheid, racism, social injustice, and it's far beyond the continent of Africa. He's affected us globally. And he has shown us that hatred cannot be overcome by hatred, but that it is overcome by empathy. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. And until next time, take care.
Because we're talking about this word pressure, I wanted to kind of just quickly explain, one of the types of pressure, because it's a force, right? Pressure is a force. We're talking about social pressure, pressure you might be feeling from school or work or friends, which is a very real pressure as well. And the concept is similar to force. So this is something that you can try at home. This is an activity we do in Steam the Block that talks about air pressure, right? So if you just have a card, a playing card, I have an Uno card here. And if you have a cup, as long as the cup is smaller than the card, you can do this exact same activity. Now, what I'm gonna try to do is see if I can get this card to balance on this cup without me holding it, okay? Upside down, okay? What do you think will happen if I turn this upside down? And I should mention, there's water in this cup, okay? You need the water that helps create that pressure. Now, what do you think will happen if I turn this upside down and release the card, right? Check that out. Ideally, logically, the water should fall. Gravity should push that water down, but what's happening, the pressure is actually holding it up, okay? The pressure from the air is actually forcing the card to be lifted up. And I want to point that out because this is the same way that airplanes are able to fly, okay? This is the same thing that we see. This big piece of metal is flying through the air because it's using that pressure, and that's something that we can do as well. You can always redirect your thoughts, redirect your actions. Any type of pressure that you're feeling, the most powerful thing that you can do is to channel that pressure and to use it to your advantage.